Welcome to an analysis of karma from the Sanctuary of Self, Rosicrucian Order Library, Part 1 of 2 on Words of Wisdom. The ancient mystical order Rosicrucis, also known as the Rosicrucian Order AMORC, is a worldwide cultural, educational, and philosophical organization that is perpetuating the profound and practical teachings of the Rosicrucians. These teachings, as passed down and added to over the centuries from ancient Egypt to Europe and now all over the world, pertain to the mysteries of the universe, nature, and humans themselves. The Rosicrucian Library is a source of spiritual wisdom and insight that includes the important writings by the respected imperators of the order, such as Dr. Harvey Spencer Lewis, Ralph M. Lewis, and Christian Bernard. Today, we will present excerpts from Frater Ralph M. Lewis's book, The Sanctuary of Self, chapters 8 and 9, entitled Causality and Karma in Effect, respectively. These chapters provide an understanding of the concepts behind karma, as well as the Rosicrucian interpretation of karma and its links to the laws of causality. Chapter 8, Causality and Karma. From the ancient Hindu teachings has descended a Sanskrit word, which signifies moral causes and effects. This word is karma. Etymologically, it means deed or to do. The doctrine which surrounds this word, or of which the word is a basis, spread to many of the other principal religions in India, Buddhism, for example. According to Buddha, the soul must continually incarnate for an indefinite period. The Buddhistic ideal, therefore, is to bring about the surcease of this continual incarnation, this embodiment in physical form. The acts of each life, according to Buddhistic principles, become causes, and as causes they produce a sequence of effects. These effects are karma, and karma accumulates and is inherited or brought over from a former life. The soul, therefore, must exhaust karma before it may be delivered from the necessity of incarnating time after time in physical form on the mortal plane. According to Buddha, incarnations are like the potter's wheel, which receives impulsations from the hands of the potter who keeps it spinning. The acts of each incarnation are an imputation, which keeps revolving the wheel of rebirth into physical form. When there is no more karma, when our acts have not produced such, there are no more imputations. The wheel of rebirth ceases its movement, and the soul is not again obliged to inhabit a body on earth. The Buddhist says that karma is fourfold. There is the karma that bears fruit in the present existence, during our mortal existence here, the karma that bears fruit in rebirth in a future life, the karma that bears fruit at no fixed time, that is, which may occur in this life or in one of the many subsequent lives from now. And then there is the bygone karma. Thoughts which produce acts now in our current life result in karma in the next incarnation. If, however, they fail to produce effects, they have become bygone karma, which implies that they have been mitigated in some way by subsequent acts. The Buddhist makes plain that the blame for our deeds is strictly our own. It is strictly a personal responsibility. We cannot transfer the responsibility to others. The Buddhist further contends that there is no escape from our own deeds. The effects must follow the causes into the heavens, into the sea, or into the earth. He points out that when we experience evil, we learn to flee from it. This does not mean an escape, but once having known what effects follow from a cause, we learn to avoid such causes. To the Buddhist, karma as a law is inexorable. There are no exceptions, no deviations. The Buddhist doctrines include two general kinds of karma. One is pure and the other is impure. Impure karma necessitates further existence. It requires incarnation again in mortal form. In impure karma, the suffering is always proportionate to the deed itself. The extent of the evil of the act determines the consequence or effect. Here again, we have the principle of retribution for the act. Fewer deeds of karma eventually stop the wheel of rebirth. The soul is liberated from further imprisonment in physical form. Chapter 9. Karma in Effect. Rosicrucian mysticism also employs the doctrine of karma, but its application is considerably unlike that of its Oriental predecessors. To the Rosicrucian, karma is commensurate with the law of causality. For every effect, there must be both an active and a passive cause. Every act, mental or physical, brings about a result which has a value related to the cause itself. Thus, if one sets into motion a series of creative, morally good acts, they will ultimately redound to the benefit of the individual. The law of causality, Rosicrucians teach, in mysticism as in science, permits no deviation. The effects must follow. From mistakes, pain may often be experienced. The pain, however, which may be associated with the result of the act is not an intentional result, it is inevitable. It follows from the necessity of the cause, but it is not intended as a punishment. It is not a matter of retribution. From such pains, or they may be pleasures, man learns the consequences of his causative acts. He knows what to expect when he puts them into effect. Many persons may object to moral codes. They may find the codes not consistent with reason, they may find them illogical, but man cannot argue with or refute the effects of his own acts, which he experiences. He knows they are inevitable, and he must adjust his life to them. Karma thus provides each individual with an intimate experience with divine cosmic laws. It is an experience which he must have in his own consciousness. It is not related to him by others. Karma thus removes blind faith, doubts and skepticism, and provides knowledge as to right living instead. There is no excuse for wrong conduct, even ignorance. There are major and minor karmic consequences which we create by our acts. Each day, in fact, we create almost innumerable minor karmic consequences. For example, we may eat something, and because we do, as an effect, we may suffer indigestion. We may use our eyes too much, and thereby strain the muscles, and we experience an annoying headache. Such suffering is not a punishment inflicted by nature. It is not a retribution, but the natural sequence of the law of causality. It is equivalent to adding a number of digits, by which process we arrive at a sum, and which sum proceeds from the mathematical necessity of the digits themselves, not because there is anybody insisting on, or compelling, or providing that sum. Enchanting viewers, it was wonderful to have your presence today.